Hello everyone, my name is Brendan Snyder. Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to a special review for the brand new album from the Red Hot Chili Peppers, Unlimited Love. So this is their 12th studio album, and of course it features the return of guitarist John Frusciante on it. I'm super excited about that. It was just released on Friday, April 1st of 2022, and we're going to dive into everything about this album in just a bit. But before we do, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please click the button. Also leave a comment, hit like, all those things help support my channel. I would greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on all that's going on in the world of music, just like this, with a review for the brand new Red Hot Chili Peppers album, Unlimited Love. So I want to give you guys a little bit of context, some background on this. They formed in 1983, and so next year will actually be the band's 40th anniversary that they'll be celebrating, which will be pretty cool. We'll have to see what they decide to do for that. But over the years, the band has had a number of different musicians in it. From the early days, they still have two original members, Anthony Kiedis on vocals and Flea on bass. And the band, of course, is rounded out now by Chad Smith on drums, who joined in 1988, and John Frusciante on guitar, who also joined in 1988. And John, now, he's been in and out of the band, three different stints through his career with the band, most recently returning in 2019. And of course, as I mentioned, playing on this album, which is really cool. Glad to have him back again. The band itself has also featured other notable musicians within the lineups. Jack Irons played drums in 1983 and then again from 86 to 88 before going on to play in bands like Pearl Jam. And of course, Dave Navarro played with them in 1993 to 1998. And came from Jane's Addiction, but then went back to Jane's Addiction. And Josh Klinghoffer on guitar from 2009 to 2019, but now is playing with Eddie Vedder's solo band. So, good digs for him as well. And between 83 and 88, the band released 3 studio albums, a self-titled in 84, Freaky Styley in 85, and then the Uplift Mofo Party Plan in 1987. And so that's the only album that the four original founding members all play on, which I found really interesting. It's not the debut, it's not the second, it's actually the third album. But leave it to the Chili Peppers to have something like that in their crazy history. But of course, it would be their breakthrough 4th album, Mother's Milk, in 89, where they did the cover of Stevie Wonder's Higher Ground. And that album, along with the next album, Blood Sugar Sex Magik, in 1991, features the current lineup of the band and was the most commercial successful for them. So Blood Sugar Sex Magik spawned 4 hit singles for them, ultimately certified 7 times platinum in the US, sold a lot more around the world, generally considered to be a seminal album and to be part of what broke alternative rock in the early 90s. So there's a lot around that album, making it the big deal that it is. Now, following that album, John Frusciante left the band for the first time. He was replaced by Jane's Addiction guitarist Dave Navarro. They then released One Hot Minute, which was a great album. That was the first real album I bought. I bought their previous couple albums while waiting for the new album, but I've always really liked it. I know it didn't do hugely well at the time, but I did like that album. John would ultimately return in 1999, record 3 very successful albums with them before leaving again, and then Josh Klinghoffer taking over for them for the last 2 albums, being these 2 right here. And during that time, they were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and just last week they got a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. So these guys are living it up right now, which is really cool, and releasing this, the brand new album, Unlimited Love, which we are going to talk about. So 12th studio album, as I mentioned, features the return of John Frusciante. It's produced by Rick Rubin, who's produced, in my opinion, all of their best material. Features 17 songs and clocks in at over 73 minutes. In this day and age of vinyl, that to me is equivalent of a double album just being put on one CD, though. Interesting that they would choose to do it that way, where other bands are actually doing 2 separate CDs just because it racks up the sales better. But, this album here here, it's got everything you would expect from the John Frusciante era of material. It's both melodic yet funky, represents, in my opinion, a return to the Californication era through Stadium Arcadium, 99 to 2009, that decade, which was such a great decade of time in terms of music and in terms of what the Chili Peppers did. Much of the album, to me, has a similar feel to the hits that were released at that time. Now, not to say that they're rehashing anything on this album itself. When listening to this, it feels all at once that it is both comfortable, confident, new, it's fresh, yet it's all recognizable at the same time, which for me at least gives a very interesting listen over the 17 tracks that are on this thing. Anthony Kiedis is in fine form on here. He sounds as good as ever, and he's still singing with that stream of consciousness style lyric that he does. In my opinion, it's both interesting when he does it and yet completely confounding. And the thing is, if you kind of dig a little deeper within his lyrics, you'll often find there's deeper meanings within all of that stuff. And John's guitar playing on this album, is a welcome feel and return to that sort of classic era. Nothing against any of the former guitarists that have played with the Peppers, but John, in my opinion, is just simply the best fit for the band, creating their most interesting and powerful work. So let's not forget, though, Chad Smith and Flea, of course, who create a fantastic foundation for the band, and without who neither Anthony Kiedis or John Frusciante would be able to shine as bright as they do, especially on this album here. And let's talk about some standout tracks on this thing. So number one, Black Summer was the first single that came off of this thing. I think it's also the one that most people have had the longest time to digest. And it begins on a somber note, and I wasn't too sure about that when I first heard it and found out it was the opening track on here. It builds slowly and then really kind of rocks out by the end with a lot of character to their sort of past hits and things of that nature. In the end, now listening to it in context of the album, I actually really like it, the way that it builds and moves in and sets up the rest of the album on here. So I like that as track number one, and it's even better than when I was hearing it as a single now. Track number two, Here Ever After. That's my favorite track so far on the album. It's a funky rocker type track and beautiful melodic guitar with a funky overlaying bass on it, and then just classic Kiedis lyrics, throughout the thing. Track number 6, The Great Apes. This one here is a melodic yet at times an intense rocker. Flea provides an excellent underlying bass on this thing that pulls everything along during the melodic times, but then it keeps everything steady during those intense parts of the song as well. Not an easy task to do. Track number 13, One Way Traffic, another great one on here featuring Kiedis' signature Heyo singing that he does. And it's got a really nice bounce to this song, driving it along, making it very memorable. It was instantly memorable to me, something I wanted to go back to and check out again. And track number 16, The Heavy Wig on this. It's got kind of a prog vibe to it, exploring a lot of different territory on this one, and in my opinion, providing some of the freshest material for this album itself when they do things like that on it. So let's take a look at this thing. There's the front cover, and there's the back of this thing. There's all your track listing. You can see 17 tracks. They just really fill this thing up on here. Then we've got the inside of it, and these guys always doing fun type band shots like that, just like they do on the back side there with the shopping carts. Very classic in my opinion. Disc is in there, and we've got a booklet in this side here. So I'll give you a quick thumb through of that. Got the same cover on that. We open it up here. We've got another shot there, same as the back, I think, maybe an outtake. Of course, it's got all the lyrics on in here, which is cool. Another nice shot of guys. I like this page here the best in it. Some cool shots, including the album artwork with the guys. More lyrics in here. Another shot there, and another one with the guys there on the back side of it. So there you go. Sort of bottom line on this thing here. Just in really kind of big, bold letters, stated only in one particular way, the Red Hot Chili Peppers are back, in my opinion, the way that we love them, the way that we expect them. And again, nothing against those last two albums with Josh Klinghoffer on them. I did like those albums, but this album here is what I've been waiting for the last decade. The album itself has that very classic feel to it from that particular era. And in my opinion, it's worthy of the band name. It's befitting of their already iconic status, and just continues the great legacy that the band has already set up. So if you're a fan of the Chili Peppers, you're a fan of alternative rock, This is a great album to go check out by the band, especially if you've lost touch with them over the intervening years or anything of that nature. And certainly because you're also getting an opportunity to check out a returning John Frusciante on it, who does an excellent, outstanding job. Definitely worth having him back in the lineup. So there you go. That is the album review for the brand new Red Hot Chili Peppers, the 12th studio album called Unlimited Love. And, you know, if you've enjoyed this, certainly leave your comments. Let me know your thoughts, that sort of stuff. I'd be interested to hear what you guys think of this album, if you agree with what I'm saying or not. And certainly consider sharing this video out on social media. It would certainly help me, but it would also help the Red Hot Chili Peppers a lot. All right, everyone, take care. Have a great day, and I'll talk to you all real soon. Bye-bye, everyone.